Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about the upcoming 2024 revised rule set for Dungeons and Dragons. And we're getting there. Okay, so recently, the character sheet on comicbook.com is the most prejudiced organization toward Hasbro Dungeons and Dragons that exists today. They take every single opportunity to stick the virtual dagger in their side. They despise them at the deepest level, right? And they came out and they did a victory lap on, like, they're like, hey, everybody's calling the new 2024 revised rule set and a name we absolutely refuse to use, right? And I can tell you right now, Hasbro D&D is saying the name for this is 2024 revised rule set. That's what you should use. Muhammad Ali, he said, hey, my name isn't Cassius Clay, it's Muhammad Ali. Use the name, right? If you refuse to call people the name they ask you to call them, you are a repugnant monster human. And you really need to look inside your soul. And you need to acknowledge you're a villain. Do you want to remain a villain? That's the question, right? It's important, right? And so the character sheet at comicbook.com, their staff said, everybody's calling the 2024 revised rule set. They're insulting it and calling it D&D 5.1. Right? And they're just gloating on it. And I honestly believe the character sheet at comicbook.com, they do fantastic coverage. They do content every single day. They work very hard. They just fundamentally hate Dungeons and Dragons at their core. And they are wishing upon its downfall. They want any other tabletop role-playing game in the world to defeat it, right? And the reason why I talk about them is there's 100 other organizations that are just like them, 100 other YouTube channels that are just like them, right? But they're the most prominent, and they execute at the highest level. I watch all their content, right? They're very good at what they do as far as covering the tabletop role-playing game activities of the world. I don't even say industry, because I don't think a tabletop role-playing game industry is real. I think Dungeons and Dragons is real, and then the OSR and the indies are a bunch of people doing vanity projects. I don't even think the TTRPG industry is real, but they cover that TTPRG activity sphere, which other groups would call it industry. I don't think it's a real industry. I don't think you can actually feed a family doing any OSR or indie content. It's just my opinion. All right, so the reason they said this is people are now we're getting to the point where we're realizing what's going to be in the 2024 revised rule set. So what's going to be there? Well, they've got a point that there are going to be absolutely nothing of mechanical significance. There are going to be no mechanical changes. There are going to be no, like, they went through this whole playtest. They were like, hey, check out this Ardling. Do you like it? People were like, nope, do not like. They're like, hey, check out all these dramatic changes for the Paladin and the Ranger. You like it? Nope, do not like it. All right? They came rules change after rules change after rules change to bring something mechanical and different and fresh, right? Weapon changes to how fundamental, just not magical weapons, just weapons themselves. This does this, this does this, this does this. You know, you get this mechanical benefit. People are like, do not like, do not want, don't want it. So when we get to the end, basically and I got to keep this as tight as I can. I got so many things to talk about. I have another topic. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to keep targeted here. The people who respond to the survey are a bunch of stuck in the mud curmudgeons, right? And I'll say this real quick. I do not think Hasbro D&D is actually the playtest. Actually, the survey, it is listened to, but it shouldn't be, right? The reality is I should be listened to, and any other YouTuber should be listened to, and Twitter should be listened to, period. That, like, and the reason why is you're going to get, like, the most sad sack, fool believes that they're going to change something through filling out a survey, right? Like, we're beyond it, right? Like, and the reality is, I think we've seen the proof. Nothing changed from the survey. Nothing that went into the survey is going to be in the revised rule book, because everybody who did the survey was like, I don't like, right? And because they're all, like, stuck in the mud curmudgeons, right? So does that mean the 2024 revised rule set is going to be a waste of time? 100% no. Let me tell you why it will matter, and it will matter dramatically and dynamically, okay? There's going to be 3 things in it, okay? 1, race will be replaced with species. That is a big, big, big deal, right? And again, you're like, not to me, Scott. You're a monster human, and you really need to look at your soul. You are wrong and repugnant, and you probably would have belonged to the Confederacy during the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War, right? You're a horrible person, okay? Like, if you don't care that race is being replaced by species and that Dungeons & Dragons is saying we are going to take a dramatic, huge leap for cultural progressiveness, then you are a horrible person. Period. End of sentence, in my humble opinion. And you really need to check your soul. You're not beyond redemption. You can redeem yourself, right? You could just say, oh my gosh, Scott's right, I'm wrong, and maybe I should not be such a hateful person, right? Like, you know, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't care that race is being replaced with species, and that everybody who comes to Dungeons & Dragons has a better chance of saying, oh, I can see myself in Dungeons & Dragons. Oh, I'm not being singled out. Oh, my actual attributes as a human are not reflected in this monster creature, right? Then again, like, just, this is important. So race is going to be replaced with species. Honestly, if that was the only change, I think it'd be worth buying every single book at full retail. I'd do it, right? But that's not the only change. There's 2 other huge changes. 1, every single piece of art will be new, all right? That is huge, huge. Every single piece of art in every book will be new. That is massive. And what that means is that the images we use for Dungeons & Dragons matter dramatically, right? And for all the old heads like you and me, right, who've been playing and old heads, I don't mean 40 years, I mean 10 years, right? 5e is 10 years old. We will get to see a completely new vision of Dungeons & Dragons. It will completely refresh it for us, right? But for brand new players who come, they're going to get to see a better visual set for Dungeons & Dragons. That is huge. Last, there is going to be a fixing of every single of 1 decade of written mistakes. Every written word will be gone over with a fine-tooth comb, and all of the errata which is significant, that has built up over a decade, will be swept away, right? And it'll be a perfected layout and writing, right? So this is not a new edition. It is not a new edition. It is not a new edition. It is a refresh. And I think what they're really doing is think of 5th edition as a hotel. They're building a brand new hotel on a steel surface right now. And they're shoving a steel surface under the existing 5th edition, and they will chopper lift that sucker out and put in a brand new hotel which has the exact same metrics, but new walls, new pictures on the walls, and everything's fresh, right? And the whole thing has been rebuilt. It's the same by every single metric, except the paintings on the wall and the people who work there are nicer and better and smarter, right? And they're gonna chopper in the new one. It is a refresh, right? And it's important. It is dramatically, critically, incredibly important. And I'm really proud of Hasbro D&D for protecting Dungeons & Dragons from many threats, and from doing the hard work and setting the bar for what fantastic, amazing, well-crafted tabletop role-playing game design looks like today. Every single word of that's important. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. The most important thing is when I get to hear your humble opinion. And when the world gets to hear your humble opinion in the comments below or in your video response. And I would really appreciate that. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.